And we'll continue with some Summer League stuff here. The headliner today, Sherrod, JD Davison, who I think more than anything else, his biggest concern coming to the league was his ability to get his shot off. Struggled from the field immensely in his 1 year at Alabama. And even coming into today, I believe he was shooting less than 30% from the field for the Celtics here. And he just went off, hitting 7 of his first 8 shots, getting to the basket, hitting his threes, which he didn't do incredibly well earlier in the schedule and at Alabama last year. So this is the stuff you really wanted to see for him to be able to take that next step. We knew he was a good defender. We knew he was a good passer. Could he get his shot off and score and be a threat in that area? And today he was an incredible threat, one that just took this game over from the start.
Yeah, well, that was the one thing when he watched himself on film that jumped out was that he was passing up a lot of really good shots, shots that he knows that he can make. And today was just it was a completely different story. He was aggressive. He was assertive. He made his voice heard in terms of just getting guys where they needed to be. And most important, he made an impact at both ends of the floor. His defense, I thought, was a little bit better today than we saw. I thought he did a really good job of getting in the passing lanes a couple times, making some things happen in that respect. I think he had like 3 steals.
Wow.
So this was an all-around great It's everywhere, man. That's how they roll in Detroit. You know this.
Is that Detroit? Is that Detroit hat, Sherrod? Are you in there as a fan?
No. Summer League, baby.
Oh, right. That's a Pistons hat, man. Like, man.
Summer League, baby. Don't start trouble, Josue. Now you got your Brockton Wi-Fi back. Now you're gonna come here and start trouble. Come on, now.
Vegas messed me up. Go ahead.
All right, we got you. Let's get Josue in on the conversation here. I don't know how much you've caught so far, Josue, but what are you liking out of this team?
Don't say that Xanax comment. I caught all of it. No, I was gonna say, I everything that Sherrod said, I think is spot on about Davison, because the thing is that the confidence I felt like was going to come naturally, but we're not quite sure how. You know, it's Summer League. You know, it takes guys a couple of games to really get comfortable. But man, today I felt like the way he blew by defenders with ease and was able to attack the paint, I thought spoke volumes. And then he wasn't overthinking in his attack. Right, he's getting to the free throw line. He was not afraid to take that 3-point shot. What was he, 4 for 6? Yeah, 4 for 6 from 3. I mean, he looked tremendous, and I think maybe if Matt Ryan is out there, or other guys who he typically turns to stack up those assists the way he did, the double that he did, I think that sort of helped him in his way of taking matters into his own hands on offense and picking his spots when to score and when to pass the ball. I thought he looked great.
Yeah, I don't think you could have expected much better from him out here. I mean, to have this game, to lead the Summer League in assists as he now does, 31 assists in 4 games, impressive stuff there, getting on the boards. His size at that position stands out, and I think that's the biggest hope for him making it in this league, is that he does bring some high-level height and length to that position. He's blocking shots at the basket. Just incredible stuff out there that projects well to fit in the system. Obviously, you got the 3 guards in front of him, Foley and White, Brogdon, as well as Smart there. But if this goes well for him up in Maine, which is where I assume he's going to start, and he's killing it up there, you could see him pushing Pritchard a little bit. And I'm sure Pritchard is a guy who has some value around the league, who wants to get minutes consistently now in this role. Not going to get many, it feels like, with White being in that 3rd slot off the bench, the secondary point guard. So if Davison shines right away, and he's still super young, super raw, has a long way to go in terms of developing his offense, you could see that making Pritchard, I think, a little more expendable if it goes well for Davison up in Maine right away. And I'd love for him to have Kabengele up there too, because those two were connecting on lobs. The amount of lobs that Davison was throwing to him and Williams throughout the schedule here was super fun to watch, super encouraging. Again, I don't think you could have expected better from Davison here in his first Summer League at this age.
Yeah, I mean, the thing about JD is that he had a great game. No one's taking that away from him, but it's going to take him time. It's going to take him time to develop consistency that you're going to absolutely have to have in a point guard. But this was a definite step in the right direction. Again, I love the fact that he was confident not only in his play, but also in his verbal command of the game. That's something that because him and I talked about that. He is someone who typically likes to lead by example, but knows that he can't do that at that position at this level. He has to be more of a verbal communicator, and I think he's getting comfortable doing that. But bottom line is this: he has to continue to make an impact, and he has to figure out how to do that in a positive way more times than not. That's a work in progress, but certainly this was a really good sign of what he was able to do today.
You think he could fit in this year?
It's all
No.
about how you respond to the. That's the thing. And when you look at guys like Bogdan and White and Marcus Smart, I'm like, something would have to terribly go wrong for that to happen, in my opinion. Because I just think those guys are just too solid right now, and that's a good position to be in if you're the Celtics. But looking forward, within the near future, who knows? Maybe next season. It's all about how you respond to the G League, if you ask me. And not to get Celtics fans crazy excited or wondering, man, is he going to be the next, whatever? But he did remind me a little bit of a young Terry Rozier. And now, look, Terry Rozier, in my opinion, the G League, that Scary Terry year, that was all because of those reps in the G League. Now, this is best case scenario, right? But I couldn't help but wonder if maybe Davison has the same sort of year. But the biggest difference, I think, between 2018 and 2022 is there wasn't that much opportunity. I mean, there isn't that much opportunity
right now. Yeah.
Right now, compared to what the situation was in 2018. I mean, the starting point guard and Kyrie Irving went down at that time, right? So it obviously opened the door for more minutes for someone like Terry Rozier. And then once he got comfortable in the NBA, he became Scary Terry. And, you guys know how that story ended. But I couldn't help but think of Terry watching Davison and then looking ahead into wondering how he's going to perform, in the G League. But again, this is a completely different scenario in what the Celtics are and where the organization is right now.
Yeah, and at the very least, you're restocking the lower end prospect end of your roster here and actually have some prospects that are worth putting some time into here behind the scenes to develop, to be future pieces for this team. If you're not going to have first round picks, and certainly Brad has traded 3 at this point, this is the stuff we've talked about. You got to find these diamonds in the rough late in the second round. There's more talent than ever. You get a guy like Williams, be a great prospect if you could keep him around in Maine, possibly. I'm not counting on it, but these guys that they've brought in here to Summer League, they look like real rock solid prospects outside Jackson, who's a little bit older and has been around at this point. These are guys you want to keep. These are guys you want to develop. These are guys that you want to play out, maybe even a full season in Maine. I don't think any Celtics have had the opportunity to play out like a full year in Maine, really, because of the fact that the pandemic shut down year 1 of 2020 under Brad there. And then you had year 2 where you were going to have to mix in some of these guys, the two-way guys with the roster the whole time because COVID was floating around and you needed those emergency roster options. And other guys just kind of dipped their toe up there, whether it was Sam Hauser or whoever else. Like, I feel like the max guys, the amount of games that any of the guys have played up there have been like 13, 14, 15 over recent seasons here. So for a guy like JD, for a guy like Kabengele maybe, or anybody on this roster here to be able to play and gel together over the course of a full main season, that's excellent. I mean, we talk about how great it is to have a stable roster at the NBA level, which the Celtics seem to finally have here. That allows you to develop behind the scenes too, and the best teams have done that. Golden State, Gary Payton. You've seen these other teams at the top of this game develop. Simons in Portland. Some of these other guys, they've come up through their systems and they've become great players by developing behind the scenes and then eventually breaking through. So that's how you sustain success here if you're Boston.